Even though Jesse Owens was a gifted track athlete and recipient of 4 gold medals during the controversial 1936 Olympics, it is the treatment that he received upon arriving home to a 1930s Jim Crow law segregated America that made him a model for the civil rights movement. James Cleveland Owens, known as J.C., was born September 12, 1913 in Oakville, Alabama. The youngest of 10 children, born to Henry Cleveland Owens and his wife Mary Emma, J.C. grew up working with his family as sharecroppers on a farm. J.C. had hopes and dreams of going to college that seemed impossible. In 1922, J.C.'s family moved to Cleveland, Ohio as part of the Great Migration, which lasted from about 1910 to the 1960s. More than 6 million African Americans left the South and headed north and west in search of better jobs and better lives. In Cleveland, J.C. went to school for the first time. When a teacher asked his name, he pronounced J.C. with such a strong Southern accent that the teacher thought he said Jesse, and the name stuck with him for the rest of his life. Jesse attended Fairmount Junior High, where he met Ruth Solomon, his first love and future wife. Jesse worked several jobs after school to help with expenses. The track coach saw something special in Jesse. However, because of his many jobs, Jesse couldn't practice with the team, so he trained with the coach before school. At age 17, Jesse began taking classes at East Technical High School. None of Jesse's siblings finished high school. Jesse wanted to be different. He saw high school and the track team as pathways to success. Jesse quickly proved himself as an outstanding sprinter. Jesse ran well in the 1932 Summer Olympic trials but didn't make the team. He became a father that same year when Ruth gave birth to their daughter Gloria. In June of his senior year, Jesse set 3 records at the National High School Championship and tied the world record in the 100-yard dash at just 9.4 seconds. Many track coaches wanted Jesse to attend their universities. Jesse's dream of going to college was coming true. On July 5, 1938, Jesse and Ruth got married. Jesse chose Ohio State University, which disappointed many of his black fans who thought he should attend an all-black university. Throughout his life, Jesse tried to ignore this kind of criticism. He wanted to live his life his way, regardless of his skin color. Although his dream of going to college was coming true, not all was well for Jesse. He was forced to work part-time, and he and other black athletes had to live off-campus and eat at black-only restaurants. Despite these challenges, Jesse continued to excel as a track and field athlete. Under the coaching of Larry Snyder, Jesse, known as the Buckeye Bullet, won all 42 events that he entered his junior year, including 3 at the Olympic trials. One of Owens' greatest achievements was on May 25, 1935, during the Big Ten Championship meet, where he set 3 world records for long jump, 220-yard dash, and low hurdles, and tied a 4th world record in the 100-yard dash. He accomplished all of this after severely injuring his back when he fell down a flight of stairs. Owens had secured his spot in the 1936 Olympic team. For Jesse and other black athletes, the 1936 Olympic Games were more than just about winning medals. The Games were being held in Berlin, Germany under the Nazi reign of Adolf Hitler, who held extreme beliefs about the supremacy of white race and despised people of Jewish and African descent. Hitler saw the Olympics as a chance to prove Aryan superiority for the world to see and strive to emulate. On August 3rd, Jesse Owens won the 100-meter dash with a time of 10.3 seconds, tying the world record. On August 4th, he won the long jump, setting an Olympic record of 8.6 meters.
The competition was grand, and we're very glad to come out on top. Thank you very kindly.
His German friend Lutz Young was the first to congratulate him. On August 5th, he set another Olympic record in the 200-meter dash with a time of 20.7 seconds. On August 9th, Owens won his 4th gold medal in the 4x100 meter relay. His team set a record of 39.8 seconds in the event. Over 1 week in August 1936, Jesse Owens made his mark on both Olympic and world history. The son of Alabama sharecroppers and grandson of a slave, had won 4 gold medals in track and field at the Olympic Games in Berlin. On the track, he had proven that skin color wasn't important, but in America, not much had changed. He and other athletes were welcomed home with fanfare and parades. Amid the celebration, there were signs of America's continuing racial divide. During the parade in New York City, Owens rode in the front car but sat next to boxer Jack Dempsey, who had once said he would never fight a black man. Meanwhile, the rest of the black Olympic athletes were crowded together in a single car at the back of the long parade. Owens didn't seem surprised by his home country hypocrisy. When I came back to my native country, after all the stories about Hitler, I couldn't ride in the front of the bus, he said. I had to go to the back door. I couldn't live where I wanted. Although I wasn't invited to shake hands with Hitler, I wasn't invited to the White House to shake hands with the president either. While in Germany winning gold medals, Jesse had received many job offers. However, when he returned to America, nearly all the opportunities disappeared. Because he needed to earn a living to support his wife and 3 daughters, Jesse could not afford to take time to finish his college degree. Owens tried to find new ways to make money. He even flew to Cuba to race against a horse and took home $2,000, which was what most people made in an entire year. White Olympians appeared in movies or were paid to promote products. Black athletes had few such opportunities. Owens moved from job to job until 1949, when he and his family moved to Chicago for a job with Leo Rose Clothing Company. Later, he was given a job with the Illinois State Athletic Commission. In 1950, the Associated Press named Jesse Owens the greatest track athlete of the first half of the 20th century. The award slowly brought him back into the spotlight and reminded many fans of his great achievements. Jesse was soon being paid to give speeches all over the country and act like a spokesman for a large oil company. By the mid-1950s, things had improved significantly for Jesse and his family. His gold medal success was finally paying off. In 1955, President Dwight D. Eisenhower asked Owens to travel throughout Asia on behalf of the United States. He was one of the several well-known Americans sent abroad to promote democracy. Though he was traveling the world and speaking about how great life was in the United States, America was still a racially divided country. During the 1960s, many African Americans joined the civil rights movement looking for change. They rallied and marched calling for an end to the Jim Crow laws and other forms of racism. Jim Crow laws were state and local laws enforcing racial segregation in the southern United States from the 1880s until 1965. Some leaders in the movement wanted Jesse to speak in support of their cause. Although he appreciated what people like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. were doing to make life better for African Americans, Owens did not think protesting was the answer to America's problems with race. In 1970, he co-wrote a book expressing his views titled Black Think, which angered many of his longtime admirers, and some even wrote hate mail. 2 years later, he wrote another book, I Have Changed. In it, he apologized for Black Think. Jesse finally understood the goals of the civil rights movement and realized he had been focusing on his own story and not appreciating the troubles other black people had endured. He spent the rest of his life helping others. He especially liked working with children. For 2 decades, Owens served as the director of the Illinois Youth Commission, in which he was able to work with children across Illinois. Jesse Owens received many awards later in his life. Ohio State gave him an honorary college degree, which meant a great deal to him since he had never graduated. In 1976, President Gerald Ford presented Owens with the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor that a citizen of the United States can receive. In 1979, Jesse was diagnosed with lung cancer. On March 31, 1980, he died of the disease at home in Arizona at the age of 66. Jesse Owens may not have been an outspoken activist for the civil rights movement. However, throughout his life, he was a role model for others because of his work ethic and sense of personal responsibility. With much hard work and determination, the child of sharecroppers not only realized his dream of going to college, but took the ultimate stand against racism by representing the United States in the 1936 Olympics in Berlin. His 4 gold medals were much more than an athletic achievement. They obligated not only Americans but the world to challenge their ethnic ideas and celebrate his success. Owens used his experience in Berlin to help others and force change. Even when he found himself in financial hardship, he refused to blame others for his misfortune and continued to help his community. Owens motivated himself and others to achieve success, regardless of the prejudice, poverty, and racism he experienced throughout the majority of his life. This will forever be the defining characteristic of his legacy.